Hello, Transurfers and the Transurfing Curious. I am Renee Garcia, and this is TransurfingTV, the only official YouTube channel for reality transurfing that is endorsed by Vadim Zeland himself, the author and creator of Reality Transurfing, and this amazing book that we are going over, the 78 Days of Practical Transurfing. I am absolutely falling in love with these. This is my first time doing this book. I've had this book for a while and I've glanced at it a number of times, but I've never actually run through all the lessons. So I am learning alongside with you guys here. And today we're on day 14, loving yourself. Yesterday was the soul attractiveness. The next one is my goal is me. These are all really having to do with self-love, self-care, viewing yourself as a king or a queen of your reality, setting your own standards, and breaking away from the pendulum's rule. I mean, Vadim talks about it specifically in this lesson, and I will get to more of that in a moment. But, getting away from the pendulum's rule that you have to adhere to some standard or set of qualities that other people deem attractive, or, maybe pendulums have us convinced that we have to pick ourselves apart and be self-critical and all this stuff. So I'm going to get a little more into my personal story with this because it's kind of an extreme one, but I will get to the lesson first, loving yourself, day 14, and then of course I'll give Vadim Zeland's interpretation, and then I will kick in my 2 cents. But yes, today is loving yourself, day 14, and the statement. If you do not love yourself, no one will love you. What's more, you'll never be happy. Any conflict between the soul and mind negatively affects your appearance and character. Accordingly, the layer of your world becomes colored in increasingly dark shades. Above all, you need to love yourself, and just then to note the qualities of others. You need to understand and feel the facts. The pendulums force you to change yourself, to turn your back to your soul and obey their rule. They are better than you, so do as they do. Look like them, sit in the matrix, be a cog. Actually, you are unique. Turn to yourself, accept yourself as you are, and embrace your right to be as you are. Then you will have reason to be proud of yourself and to respect yourself. Now for Vadim Zeland's interpretation. If a person has come far in pursuit of standards of others, it will be difficult to love him or herself just like that. How can I love myself when I do not like myself? This is a pure, unnecessary potential born from increased internal and external importance. The external importance is in the fact that you think of the standard established by someone else as perfection. Don't we appreciate too high the dignity of others? The internal significance, forcing myself to follow foreign standards. And who said I am worse than others? Is my self-esteem in fact low? To love yourself, remove the external importance from the pedestal and cease to worship idols. What prevents you from creating your own standards? Let others follow them. Throw away the internal importance and relax. Allow yourself the luxury to have shortcomings. Shift the focus of your attention on your qualities. So, oh my God, I absolutely love this stuff. Okay, first I want to state that this is sort of in line with what Vadim Zeland talks about in the book of stop thinking about what you don't want and think about what you strive to achieve instead. This is all sort of the same kind of stuff. This is just having to do with your own personal qualities on a deeper level. So how that would translate, running parallel to that statement I just gave, stop thinking about what you don't want and think about what you strive to achieve instead. It's stop thinking about your negative qualities, your shortcomings, the standards of others, and start focusing your attention on your qualities. So I myself suffered immensely for the majority of my adult life. I lived in Los Angeles, California, which is extremely critical of the appearance. People have to sort of all adhere to these qualities, these standards set by the culture there. And if you don't, then you stand out, right? So it was very much a pendulum of perfection. And oh my God, did I get caught up in this thing in a way that was so unhealthy for me. I mean, I did not see myself as attractive. I did not see myself as somebody that was lovable. I did not see myself as somebody that had good qualities. I was purely focused on what I was convinced were my shortcomings that overshadowed all of my positive attributes, my positive qualities. I was extremely insecure. I was constantly focused on my weight in a very, very unhealthy way. I was focused on the car that I drove, the clothes that I wore, the how I looked every day. I would not leave the house without looking perfect. And how this equates to this lesson, or when I read this lesson, what this meant for me, loving yourself, I had a lack of love for myself. I was just focused on the reasons that I should not love myself, or the things that I felt I needed to change in order for me to be deemed lovable. And we will get more into the mirror and how this affects the mirror in the lessons to come. I think the next 2 lessons it talks about this. But really what I was telling my world at that point was that I simply was not lovable. I wasn't lovable. I didn't love myself. I was adhering to standards created by others. I was being extremely self-critical. And what I got as a product of that was people being critical of me, people just judging me on my flaws and my shortcomings. And I kind of noticed at a certain point that everyone was doing this with everyone, and it became sort of a toxic environment for me that I really felt that I needed to detach from. After I left Los Angeles and I found Reality Transurfing, I started creating my own standards, and this is when reality really started to shift for me. Especially, I would say, in the last 2 years. It's been 5 years now since I've been transurfing, but the last 2 years, I have really started to learn how to let go of those negative attributes and just accept them, right? Self-love comes from accepting all the qualities of yourself, but focusing more on the positive ones. Obviously, and I know this all sounds so simple, but I feel that a lot of people are struggling with this right now. So I want to give a brief example before I close this video out, and this is just how this lesson, loving yourself, how this translates to my reality today in a much more meaningful way, or a much more powerful way than I would have. Let me rephrase that. There are things that have happened recently to me where if I had not grasped this lesson, or the value of these words. There are things that have happened that would have absolutely broken me. So putting myself out there, doing stuff like this, making videos, being, having my presence out there on social media, I've actually had a number of people say negative things to me, like really negative things about the way that I look or my body. I don't know what's wrong with these people. I don't really care. But the reason that I'm saying this now is because in the past, if that would have happened before I understood and really grasped the idea of truly loving myself, it would have stopped me from continuing to do this, and it would have broken me for a while. And now when I get these weird messages from people, I just laugh. I laugh because I'm like, wow, is this really what you're spending your energy on? But then I also feel really bad for them, that they need to do that to somebody else to make them feel good about themselves. But more than anything else, I feel absolutely protected by my level of self-love now. I feel that, it's kind of like an insurance policy against these standards created by pendulums. I love myself deeply. So when I get one of these weird messages from someone, I feel for them, I laugh it off, and I just think, wow, I'm so happy that doesn't affect me like, how it would have in the past. I feel incredibly, incredibly blessed to have this knowledge and a deep, profound loving of myself that protects me from outside negative information coming in my direction. So how you can use that for you, that's totally up to you, but I'm sure you encounter some outside forces as well where that little lack of self-love interacts with your environment and creates a negative product that you then feed to your mirror, and cyclically it comes back in your direction in the form of something that you don't want. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this, guys. Loving yourself. Let me know how you love yourself, and talk about, if you want to, talk about ways that you could improve this self-love. I'm still every day looking for new ways to improve my love of myself, and I know that it'll be a lifelong process, but I'm so glad that I've got information like this, and I am loving this lesson. So comment, like, and question. I will do my best to answer all your questions. Bye, guys.